Hello everyone, welcome to our very first episode of One-on-One Talk with RUMSA. Okay, my name is Dorcas, I'm RUMSA's welfare officer and I will be your host for today. I'm just going to give a little bit of an introduction as to what is this whole one-on-one talk about. It is actually a project initiated by RUMSA's welfare department to provide you with advice that you might face in university. There will be a total of 10 episodes and we will release 2 episodes in a month, and there's one special episode. I'll promise you majority of the videos will not exceed for 8 minutes. Just except for this one because it's an intro video. This talk show is clearly collaborated with our one and only beloved counselor / welfare officer. Yay!
Thanks for inviting me.
Yeah, no worries.
This is an interesting project.
Oh, thank you very much. Okay, the difference between it's that RUMSA's welfare officer, I'm pursuing a degree in law, but she's actually qualified. So there is a big difference, guys. Hi, Miss Evelyn.
Good morning.
Good morning. How's the weather today?
It's not raining and it's good.
It's really good, actually, yeah.
As what Dorcas said, I'm actually a licensed counselor. So I'm the welfare officer or student counselor in Reading, Malaysia, one and only. When you're in uni, there's a lot of challenges, okay? So I accompany them throughout their challenges so that they can be okay. That's about me.
Miss Evelyn, thank you so much for always being there for the students. We really appreciate that. Today's topic, actually, I'm very excited about today's topic. So today's topic is actually about handling negative thoughts. So Miss Evelyn, what are your thoughts about this topic itself?
Well, my thoughts about this topics. Negative thoughts are something that all of us will face. Every day we will be sometimes thinking about things that might not be very positive, because there are times where things didn't go our way, or even when things go our way, there are also times where it just pop out of nowhere that there's this negative thoughts that we have about ourselves, about people around us, or even our environment. Is actually quite unavoidable. I would say it is something that's quite normal for everyone to have it. So if you have negative thoughts, don't worry, all right? So it's normal, it's part of being human.
We actually collected some questions from the students. So thank you everyone for sending in your questions. So one of the questions we got is, instead of positive thinking, is there any way to get rid of negative thoughts? Perhaps rational thinking doesn't help.
Okay. Positive thinking is very hard when you're having negative thoughts to think positively. Let's acknowledge this. It's quite impossible to ask yourself to think positively, especially example when you're feeling really not okay and you want to force yourself to think positively. Rational thinking helps as well, but there's also times when we are faced with emotions, when we are feeling not so okay, that we can't think rationally, and that's normal. Very important to say that I at that moment can't think rationally, perhaps because I'm feeling a little bit blue. It's important that I don't act it out. As long as I don't act it out, it's okay, because negative thoughts might not be facts. We have to be quite clear about this. Our thoughts are not facts, right? It's something that's built up from sometimes our past experience, right? So it might not be very true at times. So it's important that when we are having these negative thoughts, first be gentle with ourselves, our feelings, all right? And then ask ourselves, is what we are thinking a thought only, or is it really true? Is it really fact? And are there any facts that backs up this thought? Rather than assuming that, once I have these thoughts, then it's true. For example, assuming that I'm not good enough. We have these thoughts. Sometimes, I think, especially when we are doing something that we are not very confident with, I'm not good enough. But is this really true? Is it really like I'm totally not good enough, or I have space to improve? Is it a fact that there's something that I have to improve on? If yes, then okay, what can I do about this? Okay, so first think whether this is a true thought, or is something that is not, just come and go. Thoughts are not facts. If you notice that there are times where you don't pay attention, it just floats away. So any questions about this first?
Okay, so like how do we acknowledge, like sometimes I think for some of us it's difficult for us to acknowledge like, oh, I'm having negative thoughts, or so usually how do we like approach that?
When you have the time, just sit down and then give yourself some time to write about what's on your mind. And then ask yourself, do I have these thoughts ongoing often and often again? If it is, then what is it about?
Yeah.
Okay. And if it's always ongoing or it happens, it pops up a lot of time, then perhaps you ask yourself, is this thought helpful or not?
Yeah.
Right? Is this helpful to me, or these thoughts actually makes me feel worse? If it's not helpful, try to see in another way where you can ask yourself, okay, since I'm having these thoughts, is there something that I can do about it? So, is this negative thought that I experience related to some situations that I'm having in my current life? Okay, so if it's related to something that's have our current life, right? Ask yourself, is there something that I can do about this situation? Okay, if there's nothing that I can do about it, accept that yes, there's nothing that I can do about it, and I might feel sad, I might feel, a lot of emotions, angry about it. When there's nothing I can do about it, I will accept it, and then, focus on other things in my life. Because if you notice, right, negative thoughts, sometimes we tend to focus on the negative things in
It's
our life.
true.
All right. So when we are having these negative thoughts, take a moment to pause and then reflect. If it is non-helpful and it's not completely true, perhaps we can think of another way of looking at it, which means thinking in it in a more rational way. Okay, if I am an outsider and looking back at this situation, what can I do? What
Yeah.
will I see this person? If my friend is facing this situation, okay, what advice will I tell my friend?
Yeah.
What can I do for my friend? And do that for yourself. Because sometimes we don't always have friends around us. Let's be okay. We have friends, but at the same time, sometimes we're not comfortable. Okay, we can talk it out, but when it doesn't help, maybe you can be your own friend and ask yourself, okay, what is the best thing that I can do for myself at this moment? It's hard, but do it.
Because like recently with like, let's just say with the social media and everything, that's like people posting about, wow, this has how great things are, when actually they aren't. And then I think that kind of cultivates someone to have more negative thoughts, especially with their image.
You mean comparison?
Yes, comparison, and you started to feel like you're lesser than the others.
Okay, that happens. That's the effect of social media. Things people usually post about the good things. Okay, that happen in their life, and we forget about actually, if we see it realistically, there are good things and bad things, and there are also things that are challenging. So they only post perhaps when they are feeling very good, but when they are feeling very down, you don't know that they are feeling down. Okay, so take it with a pinch of I mean salt lah. When you look at other social media, if you find that exposure to social media, a lot of social media has been making you feel very down, very overwhelmed, like you can't stop negative comparison, then perhaps it's time for you to stop using social media for a while and then go back to asking yourself, okay, what truly matters to me right now? What is my goal? What is my personal, aim currently? Do I really want to focus on the social media, or what others people are doing, or focus on what I'm doing?
Oh, that's really good. So to summarize, right, in general, what would you advise the students when you actually face this kind of issues?
When you actually have negative thoughts, acknowledge that yes, I am currently, if you can notice lah, all right, acknowledge that yes, yeah, sometimes we can't notice.
Yeah,
Sometimes we don't notice, and it comes and goes, and that's okay. Because if you notice that, hey, this is not facts, this is just a thought that I have. Sometimes when I walk in the middle of the road and then suddenly I would think of, oh, what if I got,
Oh,
okay, that's normal. Sometimes we have such type of thoughts, and it doesn't mean that it will happen. It's
Yeah,
just something that to remind you that, oh, be careful. Right? So if you have negative thoughts, if you notice it, just write it down and ask yourself, how can I see it in another manner? Focus back to the current moment and then tell yourself that, this happened, that's okay at this moment. And what can I do to make myself feel, a little bit more comforted? Give yourself some compassion. right? Because difficult times can't be avoided, okay? Yet we can choose to be compassionate to ourselves and be kind to ourselves, right?
Ooh, okay. Thank you so much, Miss Evelyn, for like giving your thoughts and everything. Like
Okay.
it's really, really helpful. I think that's all the questions for today.
Oh, okay.
Thank you so much, and like thank you everyone for tuning into this. We have more coming up, so please stay tuned. And thank you very much, everyone. Bye.
Bye.